everybody, I'm Ryan, and today we're going to talk about the standard metagame over the course of the last week, which is very interesting to me because I have two standard RCs coming up in the next month, and if you live in the United States, you do too if you double qualified. But as a disclaimer, this is technically a winner's metagame because Magic Online only posts top 32s of challenges, but I still think this is reflective of the overall metagame. Let's jump into it. So this is the standard metagame. As you can see at the top is shared by Esper Self Bounce and Mono Red. Mono Red has been tearing it up on Magic Online actually lately. In third, Dimir Midrange. Fourth, Dimir Self Bounce. And fifth, Is It Aggro, the Is It Prowess deck that has popped up with Corey Steelcutter. So if you want to look at this a little bit longer, feel free to pause the video. But we are going to look at these 5 decks that are at the top, starting with Is It Aggro, also known as Is It Prowess. So this is a new deck in the top tiers. It's been enabled by Corey Steelcutter, and essentially what this deck is doing is it's playing creatures with prowess or prowess effects like Monastery Source, Pierce, Slickshot, Show Off, and Storm Chaser's Talent. The otters have prowess. Playing Corey Steelcutter, which is an equipment that gives +1/+1, but every time you cast your second spell every turn, you get to create a 1/1 white creature with prowess, and then you can connect Corey Steelcutter to it, which gives that creature haste. Which means normally the weakness of the prowess deck is that you go really, really tall with just a few creatures, your opponent answers those creatures, and then the rest of your deck doesn't really do anything. But with Corey Steelcutter, it makes every spell in the deck matter, especially if you have multiple Corey Steelcutters, and you can end up going wide in the prowess deck, which is incredibly dangerous. The fourth most popular deck is Dimir Self Bounce. Dimir Self Bounce is a deck that employs this town ain't big enough and a bunch of things that you like the end of the battlefield effect of, like Nowhere to Run or Storm Chaser's Talent or whatever, to return those things to your hand to be able to replay them and get as much value from it as possible. While they're doing all of this, they are tapping your creatures down with Floodpit's Drowner and playing very evasive creatures like Fear of Isolation and Spyglass Siren. And it's a very, very, very good tempo-based aggro deck. The third most popular deck is Dimir Midrange. Dimir Midrange tears apart your hand with Deep Cavern Bat, capitalizes on enter the battlefield effects, sort of like the bounce decks, by returning creatures like Spyglass Siren, Deep Cavern Bat, to be fair, Floodpit's Drowner, and whatnot with Kaido, capitalizing on tapping your opponent's creatures down and playing evasive creatures with Enduring Curiosity to draw a ton of cards. And then on top of all of that, just answering your creatures 1-for-1 with a ton of removal. It's very, very powerful, very evasive, and frankly, really hard to stop once their engine gets rolling. Esper Self Bounce is sharing the top spot with Mono Red Aggro. Esper Self Bounce is super similar to Dimir, except it plays some white for some counter magic, Nurturing Pixie, which is just another bounce thing and can be a very good early threat, and Optimistic Scavenger, allowing you to get a ton of +1/+1 counters as you play these enchantments that enter the battlefield a whole bunch of times. So it's a more aggressively slanted version of the Self Bounce deck, but it's effectively the same thing. Then again, sharing that top spot is Mono Red Aggro. Mono Red Aggro is exactly what it has been for the past few months, except for a new card, Tursa, which allows you to filter some cards out of your hand, and then if you play it in the deep late game, be able to cast things out of your graveyard. It uses mice synergies in Emberheart Challenger and Heartfire Hero alongside Manifold Mouse, Rockface Village, and pump spells like Monstrous Rage to get those Valiant triggers and just kill your opponent as fast as possible while being able to cast the top card of your deck with Emberheart Challenger. Is just so powerful. But that is the standard metagame. If you like this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. Check me out on social medias. Links are above me and in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.